Everything changes, nothing remains without change. This saying aptly suits APIs. The APIs that you have implemented so far have been great. However, it's almost certain that they will undergo changes throughout their lifetime. In this section, Versioning Your Web API, you will learn the importance of versioning the APIs along with the steps to add them to your Web API project. First, you will get to understand what versioning is and what is the need of versioning APIs. This is followed by an overview of the different ways of versioning web APIs. Next, in step 17, you will take the next step to start supporting versioning in your project. In step 18, you will add a version to controllers, followed by step 19, wherein you will do the same for the actions within those controllers. Moreover, you will learn to support multiple versions for your APIs. By the end of this section, you will be familiar with concepts to version your API controllers and actions. Let's get started with the first lesson to understand API versioning. Understanding API versioning. Most of you will be already familiar with the concept of versioning your source code files. Versioning the APIs has got a similar meaning. What is versioning? Let's take a look at this definition of versioning in the context of software from Wikipedia. Software versioning is the process of assigning either unique version names or unique version numbers to unique states of computer software. In short, they are used to represent a unique state of the software, or to be more specific, API in our case. Each version of the API refers to its unique state. However, you might be wondering why you should version the web APIs. There are many reasons why it is always recommended to version your APIs. Firstly, it allows you to make breaking changes in your code. Remember that once you have shared your API with your users, then they rely on the integrity of your API and its functionality. If you are going to make breaking changes, then it may directly affect their integration. In such a case, using versioning, you can safely make those breaking changes and release it as a new version. Secondly, it allows you to track the changes being made. Similar to the way you version your source code files in the SCM, versioning APIs helps to keep a track of the list of bug fixes, feature additions, and enhancements made to your API. This helps you immensely in managing your APIs better. Thirdly, it helps your users to understand your API better by grouping changes. As a developer of your API, you will know the complete details of the API endpoints. However, for the user, it may not be possible to understand the full picture of your API ecosystem. One way to understand it better is by grouping those changes into a version and rolling them out. You spin out a new version whenever you are making a major change to your API. Finally, versioning is crucial, especially when working with hardware. It is not easier for the hardware modules to update their firmware, unlike systems that are software-based. Hence, managing the changes with versioning will go a long way in handling hardware communications better. Having understood versioning and its importance, in the next lecture, you will learn the different ways of versioning web APIs. Different ways of versioning web APIs. There are many ways you can add versions to your API. You can choose one among them to include them in your web API project. The first approach is to not version at all. Although this goes against the recommended approach of including version, there are some use cases or business reasons where you decide not to support versioning for your APIs. In such a case, all updates are made compatible with previous versions. For instance, you may add additional properties to an existing model or support new endpoints. These won't affect the existing integrations that are already in place. For example, courses/10 can return ID name to begin with. If you update it to return a student collection as well, then it's not going to break the existing integrations. The second approach involves URL versioning. The version number is made part of the path. Each time you modify the web API or change the schema of resources, you add a version number to the URL for each such resources. For example, v2/courses refers to version 2 for the courses resource. In this case, the previous URLs should continue to operate as before, returning resources that conform to their original schema. The third approach is query string versioning. Here you specify the version of the resource by using a query string parameter for the HTTP request. For example, /courses version equals 2. The version parameter should default to a meaningful value such as version 1 if it is omitted by older client applications. The final approach is header versioning. As the name implies, here you implement a custom header that indicates the version of the resource. The client adds the appropriate header to any HTTP request sent to the server. For example, X API version equals 2. The server could use a default value version 1 if the version header is omitted. You can also use accept header and accept header with custom media types as well. Having known the different ways of versioning the APIs, in the next lesson, we will go through the steps involved in implementing those versioning in our web API projects. Add API versioning service. In this step, you will learn how to get started with implementing versioning to your web API project by adding the API versioning service to the service collection. This is required for the controllers and API endpoints to have versions attached to them. First, you need to add a NuGet package reference for Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC.versioning package. To do this, go to the command palette, search for a versioning keyword, followed by selecting Microsoft.ASP.NET Core MVC versioning. As usual, select the latest stable version, followed by the cms.webapi project. Once done, the package gets added to your main project. You can then restore to start using the newly added package. Next, go to startup.cs and add the namespace Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC versioning. This is followed by adding a versioning service to the service collection using the add API versioning method. This exposes version to the existing API endpoints. In fact, you do not need to do anything further to use the default version. To see this in action, build the project, go to the Postman and execute a simple API. If you hit the send button, you get 400 bad request with a message as API version unspecified. This shows that the server now expects you to pass the version to use for executing this request. By default, ASP.NET Core exposes a query parameter named API version to pass the version details to the service. The default version supported is 1.0. Hence, trigger the request with a query parameter API version with a value 1.0. Now, the request gets executed and the response is returned. You can also skip the zeros if you prefer not to use it. Both are one and the same. When you pass a value such as 1.1, you get an unsupported API version error as this version is not supported yet by the service. You can specify a default version explicitly in the add API versioning method. The advantage of this is that if the user does not specify any version in the request, then the service will assume this default version. To do this, the add API versioning method accepts various setup action parameters. One among them is assume default version when unspecified, which does exactly what it says. Enables users to use a default version when the user does not specify the version. The actual version itself is mentioned in a parameter named default API version. Let's say you want to explicitly set the version as 1.0. Then you can assign a new API version with the version detail as 1,0 that represents the major and minor version. Build the project, run, and go to Postman. If you now remove the previously used query parameter and execute the request, you can see the result set. In the backend, the server had assumed the default version of 1.0 for this request. This is the same as passing the version 1.0 using the query parameter. If you do not prefer the query parameter name as API version, do not worry. It can be set to a name as per your wish. We will come back to it towards the end of this section. Regarding this default version, one point to note is that the default version value need not be 1.0 always. For instance, at the time of this recording, GitHub uses the default version as version 3. Hence, if you want to target a different version, then it needs to be explicitly set through one of the various approaches supported by GitHub. Once the versioning support is added to the web service, the next step is to create new versions for your controller when the situation occurs. Let's see how to add a new version to the controllers in the next lesson. Add version to controllers. When it comes to versioning in the context of ASP.NET Core Web API project, you can do so either at the controller level or at the individual action level. In this step, you will add a version to controllers so that you can start versioning the changes made to your controller. You will learn about adding version to actions in the next lesson. To begin, go to the controller folder and select a controller class for which you want to add a version. Currently, you have only a COSS controller. Go to the top of the class definition. To add or tag a controller class with a version, you use the API version attribute at the class definition. This attribute accepts the version value such as 1.0. Note that you can enter the value as per the versioning scheme you follow. It can be major version as 1 or major.minor as 1.0 or even major.minor.patch as 1.0.0 and so on. It can be any string value that is unique across controller classes. To roll out a new version, one approach is to duplicate the controller class and give it a name that corresponds to the version used. In this example, the CORSES2 controller will correspond to the CORSES endpoint having a version 2.0. One important step you should not miss is to update the root attribute to include the actual controller name. Since we just named our class as CORSES2 controller without this explicit value, root of controller will default to the root as /CORSES2. Now you are ready to make the actual changes to this controller class. When versioning is applied at the controller level, all the actions defined within this class inherits it. Hence, all the actions currently present in this controller represent version 2.0. Go to the Get Courses action and make the required changes. Let's make a simple change to include the version information at the end of the course name. This is just to identify which controller's action method got triggered when it's executed. In practice, you will handle the change in the business logic in the appropriate manner. Build the project, run and go to the Postman. The version 1.0 will trigger the existing controller class. However, if you set the version to 2.0 and execute, it triggers the new controller that was just added. You can notice from the output that it had executed the newly added class. Rolling out a new controller class for a new version makes sense when you are making a major change to most of the action methods. However, if the change involved is only for a few methods, then there is an even easier approach. You can apply the version at individual action level. Let us see that in the next lesson. Add versions to actions. This is the second way of adding versions to your Web API project. This is useful when the changes involve updating or adding a subset of actions within a controller. You can have different versions of an action within the same controller as well. For adding versions to the controller class, you had used the API version attribute. Let's say you want to roll out a new version wherein the get courses action has a different business logic and response. To add a version at an individual action level, you duplicate the action and rename it to an appropriate name that denotes the new version it corresponds to. Set the course name to append version 3.0 to denote the changes made to this action. Next, you add the attribute map to API version to map this action to a specific API version. Similar to the API version attribute of the controller class, map to API version attribute accepts the version as a string. Here, it is set to version 3.0. Hence, this action will be executed when your users send a request with the version as 3. However, if your request is sent as version 2, then the original method will get executed as it is defined inside CORSES2 controller. Build the project, run and go to Postman. The version 3.0 will trigger the newly added action method. However, if you set the version to 2.0 and execute, it triggers the original action method. Finally, if you set the version to 1.0, then it will execute the getCourses method from the Courses controller class. To conclude, you use the map to API version attribute with the action to explicitly bind it to a specific version. For actions that don't require new changes, you can leave them as is without any map to API version attribute. In such a case, this action will be applicable for all the versions mentioned for the controller. In the next lesson, you will understand how to implement the different approaches of versioning that we had discussed before. These are query versioning, URL versioning, and header versioning. Let us check it out in the next lesson. Having learned to apply versions at the controller as well as at an individual action level, the next step is to know how to implement them for various approaches. To recollect, you can version APIs using query parameters or URL or using headers. These different approaches are available to give you flexibility in handling versioning while including in your project. Each has its own pros and cons. In this lesson, let us look at each of these approaches. If you had noticed, so far you have used a query parameter based approach to add versions to your controllers. The query parameter used was API version. Using a query parameter to pass the version is the default setting in ASP.NET Core Web API. If you go to the backend, you can explicitly set this setting through the API version reader parameter within the Add API versioning service. For the query parameter based version, you set it with an instance of query string API version reader instance. It accepts the parameter name to be used to pass the value. Let us check the output in this case. Build, run and go to Postman. When you execute the course request, .NET uses the query parameter API version to read the version and process it accordingly. The query parameter name can be changed to a different one if you prefer to. So far you have gone ahead and with the default name API version. To set it to a different name, go to the backend and change the name mentioned in the query string API version reader instance. Setting the value to v shows .NET that you intend to use a query parameter named v to pass the version info. Go back to Postman and execute the same request with the query parameter as v. You will get the same set of results as the last time. Next approach for versioning is through the URL path. In this approach, you pass the version information within the URL path itself. To add URL versioning to your project, you set the API version reader to an instance of URL segment API version reader class. Since the version will be part of the URL path, you need to set its location in the root information of the controller. Note that the root attribute was used in the controller class to denote the routing information to .NET for that controller. You need to update this to include the versioning information within it. Suppose you want to set the path as /v1/courses, then set the root attribute to v followed by version. This denotes .NET that the URL path will be of the format v followed by version followed by the courses resource. Once done with the courses controller, make the necessary changes to the courses2 controller to use the URL versioning. Execute the web service and go to Postman. Remove the query parameter that was passed before. Instead, set the version in the URL path directly. If you execute the request, you will get the response for the version 1 action method. If you change the version to 2, then the result will show the details sent from version 2 action method. The final approach is to use headers to pass the version information. Similar to the query parameter and URL approaches, you set the header usage by setting API version reader with an instance of header API version reader along with the name of the header to use. These statements shows that the header X version will be used to pass the version details to .NET. In the Postman, remove the version from the URL and set the header X version to 3.0. When you execute, you get 404 not found. That's strange. What's going wrong in this case? The reason is the routing value that was set to the controller when URL versioning was used before. As per this setting, the URL must contain the version detail. Remove these settings to revert the routing setting to the previous one. Do the same for the courses2 controller as well. Now if you execute the request from the Postman, it must execute and return the expected result. If you set it to 2.0, then it will process the action that corresponds to version 2.0. To conclude, picking the versioning approach is a personal choice. Many times it depends upon your company policy with respect to API conventions. What if you are divided between these approaches and wish you can support more than one? The good news is that you can also add support for multiple versioning methods at the same time. Let us cover that next. Add support for multiple versioning ways. Before you proceed to implement this, you should be very sure that you really need this in your API. Remember that supporting versioning itself is an expensive task over the long run. On top of it, supporting more than one method of versioning is only going to increase your efforts in implementing and maintaining it. ASP.NET Core supports a Web API project to support more than one versioning approach. To do this, you need to use the combine method of the API version reader type. This method accepts a comma-separated API version readers instances that can each refer to different versioning approaches. For the current CMS Web API project, first add an instance of query string API version reader with the query parameter name as v. Then add an instance of header API version reader with the header X version. This shows that the web service is going to support both query string versioning as well as header versioning. The users of your API can pass the version detail using either of the above two methods. To check this, go to Postman, set the X version header with version 2 and execute the method. You will get the result for version 2 action method. Next, remove the header and pass the version through the query parameter v. The result of this request is going to be the same. Meanwhile, the users should be careful when passing the version in such a case. Although it's unlikely the users will use them at the same time, if at all they do that, then they should pass the same version value. Logically, if they are different, then the request will fail with an error message as ambiguous API version, as the service doesn't know which version to use. The version value must be the same for the request to execute successfully. Choosing the versioning method to implement is based on various factors. In practice, I have noticed many choose URL versioning approach as it is very clear for implementation, documentation as well as usage. Let me give you some tips that will help you when you are handling versioning web APIs. Tip number 1. Versioning a system is easier if it is addressed in the API design stage itself. You know that it is strongly recommended to design the API before you start implementing it. During the design phase, you must brainstorm and conclude about the versioning strategy that you are going to support for your API. Although you can implement Web API service to handle multiple versioning approaches, in practice, we tend to support only one approach. Tip number 2. Maintaining versions comes with a cost that includes money, resources, and time. If you don't have the resources or budget to support old versions for years, and if you foresee only very few changes to your API, then you can consider not supporting versioning. It is better to skip versioning than to stop supporting them in the future. Be very cautious when you decide this, as any change in the future will not be easy. Tip number 3. Encourage users to adopt new versions by including new and anticipated features in them. Just because you release multiple versions doesn't mean your users will start using them. In fact, users will always be hesitant to move to new versions as they are concerned about its effect on the stability of their own system. Think for a moment. Suppose I have integrated with GitHub API and released my product to the market. After a while, if GitHub releases a new version with breaking changes, will I be interested in adopting the new version? No, I try to stick to the existing version as much as possible. Using the new version will push me towards additional development and testing time. To encourage your users to adopt to the new version, you can include most anticipated features in them. This way, your users will move to the new version if they are interested in such features. Let us summarize the concepts you had learned in this section, versioning your Web API. First, versioning the APIs is done to identify the unique state of the API. This can be done using either name or number. Some of the reasons to support versioning include supporting breaking changes, track the changes made to APIs, group related changes, and so on. Second, to version the APIs, you can do so through URL, query parameter, or headers. Rarely you may come across a situation that does not require versioning your API. Next, you learn to include Add API versioning to the service collection to support versioning in ASP.NET Core Web API projects. By default, it uses a query parameter, namely API version, to pass the version details. In the next step, you added a version to the controller using the API version attribute. A controller can support more than one version. If you are using the URL versioning approach, then you need to update the root attribute accordingly. Next, similar to controller, you can add a version to individual actions within the controller using map to API version attribute. If you do not include it, then it will assume the version of the controller class. Finally, you added support for multiple versions to your Web API service. This is done using the API version reader.combine method. Here you pass the set of versioning approaches that you want to include. To practice the new learnings, you can consider adding more versions to the course resource. Just think of the different possible changes that a course can have in general. You can then implement the versioning for such changes. Play around adding versions to controllers as well as to individual actions. Pay attention to situations that lead to conflicting versions.